Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match preview for Aston Villa versus Everton in the League Cup. Everton going into the second League Cup tie of the season, obviously won away at Doncaster last month. Much trickier tie against the team we've already given us a heavy beating back in August. So, yeah, I mean, could have done without getting a team this good this early on in the cup, but you've got to beat these sides if you're going to have a cup run. So, how are you feeling about this one, Ollie?
Yeah, as you said there, it's a tricky game, isn't it? It's one of these teams that you didn't really want to play as early in the competition as we have got. But as you said again, we have to beat these teams if we want to go on a cup run. So I think it's a relatively favourable side in terms of, they're probably one of the worst in this top seven which enter the competition at this round. They have got a lot of games to be playing in the next couple of weeks. They are in four competitions this season, so it wouldn't surprise me if Unai Emery was going to rotate the squad a little bit and maybe start with someone like John Duran over Ollie Watkins. I know he had scored against us in that 4-0 win at Villa Park, but I think there will be rotation there and we can capitalise on that and maybe come away with a passage into the next round, but we'll see. I think it's a tough game.
You mentioned Villa are going to rotate, but is it in our best interest to rotate? I know obviously we want a cup run, but you've got Luton coming up, Bournemouth after that. Do we try and save our best players for that? Obviously, Calvert-Lewin's not long back from injury. McNeil didn't just come back. Harrison's only just getting back into training now. I think he was on the bench against Brentford. So, do we protect our best players for this game? And what is the best course of action? Because obviously we know how poor some of our second string are, and a fear for them if we put them out against Villa. But because Villa's reserves will probably wipe the floor with our reserves.
Yeah.
But
I think there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to both arguments. I think the first one, you've got to look at the pros of playing a weakened team that, as you said there, the Luton game on Saturday is huge, isn't it? We have to get 3 points in that one. But then if you look at the cons to that, it's players probably, it's another 90 minutes that they'll be sat on the bench. Calvert-Lewin, as you said there, he is coming back from an injury. So maybe it will be time for him to start his first game and get some valuable minutes under his belt there. Um, but then again, we do have to be looking at the league with one eye and saying maybe we just cut our losses in the cup. Maybe it's not a year that we have to be going on a cup run and just make sure that we pick up as many points as in the Premier League just to stay in the league come May.
yeah. So what would you do then? Would you would you stick or twist?
I'd say stick because you want to win every game that you're competing in. I think if you look at the squad that played against Brentford on Saturday, just to keep that momentum going, I think you have to just keep that platform and maybe go unchanged against Villa just to try and keep the momentum going into the Luton game. That they are at a stage of the season where minutes in the tank probably shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. Playing two games in a week probably it isn't the most difficult thing for them. So I'm going to be positive and say, yeah, I'll stick with the team and go full strength against Villa just to try and keep that momentum going and looking ahead to Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. With that in mind, what sort of team would you put out to Villa?
Um, I'd like to see Jack Harrison get his first minutes in Everton shirt. I think that'd be a real good thing to see. It'd be a positive going into the Luton game. As defence, I'd go unchanged. I don't think it's right to upset the balance there. I think they played really well against Brentford. Midfield, again, maybe rest Amadou Onana just to manage his time a little bit more, a bit like he did with James Garner against Arsenal. But yeah, front three, I'd probably go with maybe Calvert-Lewin, Dan Juma, and it has to be McNeil off the left. I know we talked about it in the Villa review, sorry, the Brentford review, that how crucial McNeil is. I think if you are going to get anything from this game, McNeil has to start for me. And again, it'd be valuable him to just build up his minutes. He's had a long injury and missed a vital part of pre-season. So yeah, I think McNeil has to start for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. We're talking about rotating the team. We haven't actually got that many options in the first place. Like our squad's really thin. We've only got a couple of backups we could swap in if it came down to it. And a few of those backups played badly in the previous fixture against these only a month ago. We're talking
Yeah,
Patterson, Keane. There's a few there who underperformed in this fixture, so not really sure if that's a good move to bring them in. Knowing what came before, but it may well be a case that we have to go with an unchanged team or a relatively unchanged team. The options just aren't there. If anything, I think we've lost the likes of Iwobi in that sense, haven't we? There was like a couple of players there, like um, that we had back then actually have left since.
yeah, it
Uh,
will be Mopay. Yeah, there's a few options there that we didn't. Obviously, there's a few options that we had there that we don't now. But again, we've probably strengthened in other areas. So I think the one thing for me is the psychological thing of playing Aston Villa. As you said there, it might not be the best idea to put these players in that had, a 4-0 battering at Villa Park. It, it might just be the best course of action to go with an unchanged 11.
I don't think there's any easy situation to be honest with you. We could have done with not playing this game this week. I'd rather have kept the players safe, get into that Luton game, and hopefully have the tools to win that game. I'm just fearful of injuries. I'd rather. I think deep down, I'd rather. And I'm saying this from a team, and we want to win silverware, but I'd happily just go out of this cup and just
Yeah.
point on the board in the league because sadly that's where it's at the moment. Is our priority's got to be to stay up and avoid any more problems.
I agree with you. I think it's probably the negative thing, and a lot of Evertonians might be a little bit upset that we go out of the cup, but you have to look at the bigger picture in a season like this. It's not going to be easy between now and May staying in this division. There's a lot of competition. You look how tight it is around the bottom six, bottom seven already, and we're only 6 games into the league season. So it might not be the thing that most Evertonians want, but it might be the thing that we need as a club just to focus on the league, make sure that we get to May on enough points and go from there. Maybe go on a cup run next season when we've got a little bit more stability.
Yeah, I mean, you have to suck it up and just admit that staying up's by far the biggest priority this year. I personally would change a lot more than you would. I think it kills me to see this bringing players like that who really can't stand back into the team.
Mm.
But I'd do it. Even some of the like other kids who are lying around the under 21s, maybe give a few of them a run out. Maybe a baptism of fire, but one of them needs more. So we haven't got the numbers.
Yeah, it'd be good for them to get some experience. You look at players like Lewis Dobbin, Mackenzie Hunt, Tyler Oniango even could come in. So I think there's definitely players there that could come in and do a job. So yeah, it might not be the worst idea to look at the under 21s and as you said, just give them a bit of minutes. It might be a baptism of fire, as you say.
Could be, but at the end of the day, no one's going to blame those players if they got a bad result. Whereas the last thing we need is negativity surrounding the first team going into important games against Luton and Bournemouth before the next break. So it's a real dilemma. Like we could have
Hmm.
really done with getting a rubbish team in this round and just ticking ourselves over. Even if we went out in the round after that or something, just something to keep us ticking over and build the momentum. Because
Yeah.
obviously the Doncaster win was a welcome win at the time because we were on the back of a few defeats and at least led to us getting a point at Sheffield United after that, and you know that momentum's important. It'd be nice to be able to build some, but I'm not confident we'll do that against Villa.
I think
If
the
we do,
the
it'll be a
biggest
miracle.
worry, yeah, as you said there, it's a miracle. And I think the biggest worry for me is if we go to Villa Park and get 3-0, get 4-0, or we even 2-0 and we don't get a goal on the board. I think it just wipes all the confidence that we got from the Brentford victory. And that would be so worrying going into the Luton game where let's have it right. We're going to have a lot of pressure on our backs come Saturday because Luton, without a win in the league, they're looking for that first win that they so desperately craved and what we
The
craved
banana
before the
skin
Brentford
game,
game.
innit?
Yeah, it's a huge banana skin. And you even look at the Bournemouth game as well as a banana skin. So if we were to have that momentum derailed by Aston Villa, say we did get battered, I think that would be damaging to the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's for that reason I put a complete change team in and not like damage the confidence that has come into play with the actual first team who took part at Brentford. Um, it's difficult, and I wouldn't normally be saying this in any other season about because I do like to take the cup seriously, and but it's the situation we find ourselves in that we can't afford to sacrifice our hand in the league.
Oh, I agree with you there. I think I keep coming back to this, but the bigger picture of looking at the league table come May, I think we want to be positive. We want to go into every game winning it, and we want to go into every game putting our strongest 11 forward. But if it's in the best interest of the bigger picture and getting points on the league table, I think you kind of do have to just concede and just kind of admit that we're not really in a situation where we can go into these games being positive and putting a full strength 11 out because one, as you said before, we don't have that depth in numbers. I know we've got a lot of players coming back from injury and players that might want minutes in the tank, but then again, you have to look at the pros and cons and weigh up. Do we really need a cup run? And is the biggest priority just staying in the league?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, if I was to put like a side out full of young kids, if they get beat, they're not going to be blamed. If they have a good game and shock everyone and win the game, then you've automatically got some potential new members for the first team. You know, you got players who are making an impression. You got players who maybe put themselves in the shop window for a loan, or then that immediately creates more positive momentum. I don't see any harm in putting some of those kids out for this game.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. And one thing that might work in their favour is that I read today the Aston Villa haven't sold 18,000 tickets for the game. There's a lot of unrest in their fans because of how much the club are actually charging for tickets. So Villa Park's set to be half empty. That might be a good way to introduce these kids. You know, you look at, as I said before, Onyango, Dobbin, Mackenzie Hunt. It might be a good way to introduce them just so they can get minutes in the tank with, an atmosphere that's not really going to be as hostile as it was in the Premier League in August. I think that might be a positive which we can use and harness the atmosphere which the Evertonians are going to create in that South stand to our advantage. It almost becomes a home game then.
We're going to need all the help we can get. So you've just got to cross your fingers that all this comes to pass. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, fingers crossed. We'll finish up with the prediction anyway. What are you thinking?
Um, all depending on starting 11. I think I'm going to go positive and I'm going to go 2-1 Everton victory. I think we can get the job done. And it's a little bit shocking, I know, but you got to be positive. You got to build on that momentum. And yeah, 2-1 Everton.
I'm going to say a 2-1 defeat. I'm not thrilled that I'm saying that. I don't want it to happen, but like you say, even if we got beaten, got a goal or something in this game, and just lick our wounds and get back to that Luton game and try and get a good result there. That's what matters to me. I'm seeing this game as an inconvenience, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Just get it out the way. Whatever happens, no injuries. Go to Luton and hopefully win that one. That's the big one.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
There you have it, guys. Not the most optimistic from me. Ollie was far more optimistic than me there. So if let us know which side of the fence you sit on. Get your comments coming in. Let us know your opinions. Give this video a like and subscribe for more content. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.